Welcome to another render demo how to draw video tutorial. Today I'll be showing you how to draw a violin. So let's get started. So the first step is to draw the main portion of the violin. So we're going to have the violin on an angle, and I'll start with the top section. So I'm going to have like this rounded shape like this, and then it's going to kind of get, we draw kind of like a box, this rectangular shape. It's going to get wider as it goes in this direction here. Okay, so we're going to have like this pinch that happens right about here. So this shape here is going to be a little bit smaller. Okay, right here. And then this is going to be a little bit larger, and this will come out and we'll extend beyond this shape here. So if we do something like this, this will kind of come out and be a little bit wider. So it's kind of like a peanut shape. Okay, and it's a little bit wider on this bottom section here. Something like that, okay? So it's kind of like a peanut shape. Okay. So then the next thing, we're going to draw in this direction. Okay, so if there's our center, just like this. Okay, coming like that. So if you drew like a center line in this direction, you can use a ruler if you want. What I'm going to do is, it's going to be kind of like a shape right here, and we'll draw kind of like this curve shape here, and this will go to about right about here. Okay, and this is going to be smaller, shorter, and then we're just going to go and taper this all the way to that corner, and then this one here will come. Again, if you want to use a ruler, go ahead. This one will go to that piece right there. So then the next step, right about here, so you want to pass this pinch point here where it gets narrow. You want to go past that to somewhere around here. And this is roughly, you know, if you kept this going straight over, it's going to be roughly about that same length, like that. And we can do a subtle curve here like this. And then we're going to come to right about here, almost halfway from here to here. It's going to get narrower, okay? So if we draw, let's draw this back piece here. That's a little bit narrower. See how much narrower that is? And we can stop like this. And then over here, this will kind of come out almost like a flashlight shape, like that. All right, something like that. Okay. All right, so the next step, we'll draw in the center here. So we're going to have strings that come up, and we have to have them elevated from the surface of the violin. So what we're going to do is right in the middle here, we're going to draw a curve that kind of follows this curve here. So we're going to do one curve over here, and then if you come down like this, we'll draw another curve like that. Okay, now let's get the thickness of our violin. So what we'll do is we'll come off of this, and we're going to go in the down direction towards the bottom of our page. And what we're going to do is I'm going to kind of stop right about here. So that's going to be like our thickness of the violin. Okay, and we can do the same back here, something like that. Now the violin has some decorative pieces, so if you come across right where the end is here, so if you kind of go across like this, and then right about here we'll do another one right about there. So what's going to happen is we're going to come from this shape here, we're going to come in to about here, and then it's going to point out. So we're going to come in, and then this is going to point like this, and then this will come back in like that, and we'll connect to our shape, and then over here this will go and connect to our shape like that. And on this side we'll do the same thing. So we're going to have a point that sticks out here, another one that sticks out there. So if you want to draw those in first, you can go like this. So that's going to be this piece here over there, and this one here will hook and come out like that. And then we're going to come in. Okay, so we're going to come in like this, and this one will flare out just like that. Okay, so I'm going to go and just erase my lines, and I'll erase this so we can see a little bit clearer what we're going to do next. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is, so this line here, remember we did this for the thickness? So we'll do the same over here, and then the same over here, and then the same over there. So now you can start to see it's starting to get the thickness built up. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this shape here, the top of the guitar surface here, and we're going to try to follow this curve like this. Alright, we want to match that same curve down here. And now we want to match this shape down over here. Now this is a little bit tricky because this, you're going to come in and we're going to meet down here. Okay, so this line here will shift down and do something like this. See how I drew through the surface? Okay, so remember we go like this, and then we're going to do the same, this like almost like an ear shape, right? Like a backwards C. So we're going to do the same shape, it's going to come right to there. But we're not going to see any of this here because that's on the back side. Alright? But that helps us get this, see this how it points right there? Alright, and then if you want to draw a line, that's the thickness here. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to come in and we're going to draw this curve right here, okay? So we're going to come in and then we're going to go out like that. And then we're going to wrap this around and we're going to meet up right there. And then over here, where this shape here, we'll start here and we'll curve that in a little bit so you don't really see too much of that side. Alright, next step, so now that we got the thickness drawn in, the next step here is we can create the end over here of our violin where all the strings attach and get tightened and adjusted. So this is going to be a little tricky of a shape, but I will show you how long we're going to make it. So it's not going to be too long, but what we're going to do is we're going to start right about here. So just not all the way to the end of the to this edge. We're going to start inside a bit, and we're going to kind of come down a bit, and then we're going to come up like this, and then this almost like flares out a little bit like this, and then has like this pointy shape at the end. And when this comes in, then we're going to come and round that back like this, and there'll be a line right there, something like that. We can put a couple detail shapes over here on the end like that. Okay, now we can draw some other cutouts from inside the guitar. So these are like decorative shapes, and it's kind of like an S shape. So I'm going to start with the a curve. So I'm going to come up and I'm going to come down and then I'm going to hook this like that, okay? So that's, then I'm going to do the same on this side. So I'm going to hook this over, come in and do the opposite like that. Okay, and now at the end of these there's little circles. So we'll just draw a couple circles there and a couple here. And then it actually gets thicker right here down the middle. So the points where the circle are, and it gets a little wider like that, and just a little bit. So it's pointy, and we're going to kind of widen this like that. Excellent. Okay, now we're going to use the piece that presses the strings and gives the sound, makes them vibrate. So we will draw that right across the violin. So we'll start about here, and I'm going to have it come right along this edge here. So I want to make sure I stay clear of these details here. I want to be able to show those. So I'll do something like that. You know, you can pick whatever angle you want. All right. So what we'll do is we'll draw from about here, and it's going to be roughly about this length here. So if you're able to kind of do that, you know, it's going to be something roughly like that. So we will go and we'll draw a line like this. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook this back like that, and then it'll come have like a rounded shape there. And then we're going to draw a parallel line to this line here, like that. And then over here, this will taper and get pointy like that. All right, so now I'm going to start in roughly about here, and we're going to come up like that, and we're going to come close to the edge like that, and close, and then this is going to taper like that. And over here, we're just going to make sure we have a thickness over here, just a little bit like that. And then we can put a elliptical shape right there. Okay, now let's go back to the head of the violin. So what we're going to do here is we'll do a circle right about here, and then we'll do another one there, and then we'll draw a line that goes and kind of stops right about there. And then if you continue that line and you continue this one over there, and we'll draw two circles on this side. Roughly about, they could be a little bit smaller than these two here. It's going to be a little bit smaller. Okay, the next step is to put in our strings. So what we'll do is we'll do like about 4 strings. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll space them out here first, and then what I'll do is they will end right about here. So I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I will actually use a ruler for this so that my lines are nice and straight. And then what we'll do is these will come all the way to the edge here. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just going to space those out. I'm going to use my ink pen now. As you can notice, I started with this part here that's on top of the violin. So I wanted to make sure I drew that in and inked that in first, because these areas here, I did not want them to go through the violin because they're below the violin. And same with the strings. You can see right here, the strings, I stopped them before they hit that. So now this part here looks like it's sitting on top of everything. So that was important to start with that piece first. So now I'm just going to erase and color it in. So there you go. We just drew a violin in a few simple steps, and then we used some oranges and browns to color it in. I added some extra little white highlights with the white ink pen, and that about wraps it up. So please subscribe to our channel down below. That way you'll see upcoming video tutorials from us, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.